Teaching a heel position. To start loose lead walking training, it can be helpful to teach your dog where you'd like them to be, especially when you start walking and when you stop walking. So we're going to teach a heel position, which to me means to sit by my side facing the same way as me. This is my dog Buffy learning this for the first time, so you can see the little bit of trial and error that we go through. So what I'm doing is putting a treat to her nose and luring her past me and then back around so she's facing the same way as me, and then I'm going to reward her for standing next to me like that. My end goal is that she's going to sit next to me, but for now I'll just take the stand. I lure her into a sit. I want to avoid saying the word sit because to her, sit means sit in front of me, so I don't want to confuse her by having these two separate behaviours linked to the same word. So a treat to her nose, lure her around behind me, bring her forward, then I'm going to put a treat to her nose again and lift it up so that she goes into that sit, and then I'm going to reward. The first attempt you may have seen that she jumped up a little bit because she was a bit confused. That's fine. All I did was wait for her feet to be back on the floor and then reward her again. So lure her around, bring her next to me, lift the treat up, wait until we get that sit. So she jumps, she's confused, there we go, now she gets her treat. So because she's a large dog, what I do here is try and create space by my side by pushing my leg backwards. You don't have to do this, but sometimes it can be helpful to teach your dog where you want them exactly, especially if there's not a lot of space for them to be. So she gets a release cue, that was a really good one. Lure her back, create space for her, bring her around, lift it up, now she's getting the idea. Now that she's doing really well with this, I'm going to work towards removing that treat in front of her nose. So I'm going to continue doing the lure, but not with the treat in my hand, and then I would reward her once she's in that position. The box step. This is a great game to teach your dog to follow you when the lead is attached to them. If you're doing this game for the first time indoors, your dog might be a bit confused as to why the lead is on them, so you can start this game without the lead and then add it in as a distraction later on. So what I'm doing here is taking a couple of steps away, and when she comes with me, she gets her marker and her treat. All I want is for the lead to stay nice and loose. I don't care if she's in front of me, behind me, next to me, it doesn't matter. I just want her to learn that when I step away, she follows me and the lead stays loose. So you can start this game off nice and slow, just going in kind of a square shape, and then you can advance this game into what's called drunk walking, where essentially you walk in lots of random different directions a bit more erratically and teach your dog to follow you regardless of where you go or what you're doing. Putting it all together. Once you've practiced the box step quite a lot, your dog should be pretty good at following you regardless of which direction you're going. Now we're going to start asking them to go in one direction, which is forward, more like what a general walk is going to be like. So here we started with the heel position to get ready to go, and then we're using the exact same skills as the box step, except we're just going forward now. So once she looks up at me, we start moving, and then I mark and reward her for walking with me. There's a few human things to keep in mind here. The first thing that I'm doing is having my lead in the opposite side to where the dog is. So the lead is in my left hand and Buffy is on my right hand side. This is because I want to make sure that my hand that's next to her is available to use the treats. If I'm using the opposite hand where she is to use treats, then I'm going to end up luring her out in front of me by accident, which I don't want to do because I might accidentally kick her or I might trip over her. The other thing that I'm doing here is, as much as I can, trying not to stop when I reward her. It's quite a normal human thing to stop and then give a dog a treat, but we want to be careful of accidentally rewarding them for stopping. So try and stay on the move.